Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. I'm also here to give you an update. So, right now, we're looking at a trend that's happening across the country. Republican led states are starting to implement new laws, anti immigrant laws, specifically targeting undocumented immigrants. And they're pretty scary. And the latest one is in Oklahoma. With that one in Oklahoma, they're actually making it a crime to be undocumented. So if they do find that you're undocumented, they will arrest you, charge you with a misdemeanor, and if you if you do not leave the state after you're released or after you have been convicted, they will then charge you with a more serious crime with up to 2 years imprisonment. So this is Oklahoma. And I had said this before that I'm seeing this trend happening across the country, mostly in Republican led states. And here we have it again. So we had Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Iowa. Now we're seeing Oklahoma, and I'm pretty sure there's probably something cooking up in the other conservative states as well. So, as I said, as I've always said, it's always best to look at your options, because the state that you're in may very well be next. And when I am talking to people in my appointments, I don't just ask them the basics that's going to get me basic answers. I want to get the information that's going to help me to explore a broad range of options. And this has been very successful in that we're able to get benefits for our clients that other lawyers they don't know about, or they're not informing immigrants about. I've heard many times that they will go, and by the way, most of my clients who we have gotten a benefit for started with their work permit and not, and their permanent residence. They have always said that another attorney told them that it can't be done. For example, with VAWA, when they're being mistreated by a spouse, they have sought the help of other attorneys, and those other attorneys would tell them demeaning, patronizing things like, just put up with it until you get the green card, put up with abuse, because the abuse is not enough to qualify for VAWA. And we go ahead and we fight for our clients and we get it for them. So don't just, when another attorney has, that they have not asked the right questions, they have not been as detailed as they could be, then it's time to be able. As I see here, one in Spanish. I speak very little Spanish, but I say I have my residence, conditional residence. Is that good? So yes, that if you have, that's good. So if you're in Oklahoma, you're referring to the laws across the state. Having a 2-year green card means you're a permanent resident. So that is good. A good thing to have your 2-year green card. You have your papers. So make sure you get in touch with me. Even if you've spoken to an attorney before, let me be your last option here. Let me just evaluate. Give me a chance to evaluate your circumstances to determine whether you qualify. Now, I can't help 100% of people. However, I know I can help a large number of people, a large number of immigrants based on what they've been through alone. And we've done it through the firm, and our goal is to help as many people here. So start there. Empower yourself with the information you need here, especially with all of this going on. Oklahoma, they're criminalizing immigrants. So they are saying immigrants in the state without their current papers will be targeted for arrest and criminalization. That so far, so we have Texas that's doing that right now, and now we have Oklahoma, and there are certain criminal penalties in Florida, and as well as I believe Iowa. So it's getting scary. It's getting scary here, and you want to make sure you know your options. So get in touch with me. Let's talk. Let's figure out some solutions here. All right. So I'm going to answer some questions for you. Go ahead, put those questions in the comments and I will answer questions. Good day, Michelle. Nice to see you. I hope you have a beautiful day too. I love your lipstick. Thank you. It's Sephora. Sephora has all sorts of shades, all great bright shades, and it stays on all day. Do you apply for EB2 NIW? Yes, as long as you qualify, we can help you. Schedule your appointment. Let's talk. Now, NIW is a national interest waiver. This is where you can self-petition for yourself based on if you have an advanced degree. So this is like a master's degree or a PhD, or if you have exceptional ability. That's if you don't have an advanced degree, but you can show through your experience, through your history as a professional, that you have gained exceptional ability. So give us a call. Let's talk about your qualifications. Let's talk about your goals. When it comes to the national interest waiver, your goals, the way you're going to use that exceptional ability, or your education or your experience related to your field and education is going to be very, very important. Meeting the educational requirements and exceptional ability is the starting point. But then you have to be very clear on what you plan to achieve here and then how you plan to achieve it and how you're going to show you plan to achieve those goals here in the US. So let's talk. Whenever I get consultations regarding the national interest waiver, we do have to have that detailed conversation. All right. What if VAWA is denied? So if VAWA is denied, you can either possibly appeal or you have to reapply, addressing whatever issues have caused the denial. And it depends on the basis of the denial. This is where it's very, because once there's a denial, it turns into a more complex case. We need to determine what was the basis of the denial, can it be fixed, and would it be better to either appeal or to just reapply altogether. I'm in Panama City Beach. Do you have an office there? So we have an office in Boca Raton, but that has not stopped me from having my clients. I have many clients up in Panama City Beach, up in Santa Rosa Beach, up in that area overall. So that has not stopped me from servicing my clients. As a matter of fact, we have clients all over the United States and all over the world. So give us a call. Where you're going to start is by going to the link in the profile. Click on that link and you'll see all the ways to get in touch with us. Start there. Either book your own consultation or go to the website and contact us from there. Do T-status person travel also? Or does all T-status get travel? No, all T-status holders do not get travel permits. You have to apply for the travel permit after being approved for it. So keep that in mind. I submitted my VAWA petition in November 2023. It was forwarded to Vermont in February. I got a prima facie in April. When do you think I'll receive the work permit? So I don't know about your case, but I usually work permits are issued between 8 months and 12 months. I got approved for my work permit. Congratulations. However, I have a SSN from J1. Will they issue a new SSN? So based on my experience, they've always issued the same SSN, but it's like sort of like reactivated your current SSN that you hold. because when you say your J1 expires, the ability to work with that SSN through the J1 is deactivated. So when you get this new work permit, now it reactivates it to show that you qualify to work. With asylum, can you receive advance parole while waiting on a decision? It may be possible, but I wouldn't advise it. It's a big risk if you're leaving the country while on asylum, because usually the whole point of asylum is right now the U.S. is your only safe space. If you're now, getting advance parole to travel to other countries, they may ask, is the U.S. your only and last resort here for safety? Since you're traveling, and especially if you travel back to your country, it would be a bad thing. So I wouldn't recommend it. It's a huge risk. Would they start checking from the November or when it was transferred to? So I usually count from the date it was filed. Good afternoon. Do you have any office in New Jersey? We don't, but we have many clients in New Jersey, and the distance has not stopped us from properly representing our clients. So no matter where you are in the US, New York, California, Washington, Texas, if you're way up in North Florida, if you're in Alabama, if you're in Tennessee, if you're in Georgia, we represent clients in all those states that I listed. So, and more. So I haven't listed all of them, but we represent clients in all 50 states. So give us a call. You'll see the number going across the screen on YouTube and Facebook. So give us a call or go to the link in the description of the video. Can you file U visa if your car is stolen? So the crime really has to result in your physical or mental abuse. So if it was a traumatic event that resulted in trauma to you, then yes, it is a possibility. I would really have to look at the facts here, though, to determine whether this would be a qualifying crime for purposes of applying for the U visa. I filed for T visa, currently living in Georgia. Am I a target for deportation? Can you file for U visa if you have your car stolen? So I answered the car stolen part. So the T visa is better to have that relief pending. Better to have anything pending than not at all. Anything you qualify for, by the way. Don't go applying for anything you don't qualify for. But if you qualify for it, go for it. Because if you have that on record, then you have an easier time. Even if they they detain you, you have an easier time asking for release or termination of the deportation because you have this relief pending. So having a pending T visa does not outright explicitly give you any kind of protections, but it can help make it easier. And it means that if you have something pending, you may be able to get out of that deportation based on that relief. So that this is where, I've heard people, and understandably so, you're afraid, so you decide not to go for anything. But how is that going to get you anywhere? If you just have to do it right. With everything else, you have to make the right investments. But you need to make a move because sooner or later you are going to be affected. So the way that you start is you can always talk to me and we can talk about some options that you have. Thanks for your videos. I came with K1, then married after 11 months. My spouse divorced me without applying for the green card. So I submitted VAWA case. What are my other options if my VAWA gets denied? So it's going to depend on your circumstances and the facts here. That's going to determine whether you qualify for any other forms of relief other than the limited facts here, which, definitely falls within VAWA. I wouldn't know what your other options would be unless I spoke to you about those facts. All right. What is jurisdiction? USCIS transfer my case to jurisdiction. So now remember, USCIS functions all across the country. So all these offices are under the umbrella of the USCIS. When they're transferring your case, they're not transferring it to a new jurisdiction. They're transferring it to be able to distribute the workflow better. So it has nothing to do with, oh, they're sending it to that office. So that means that that office now has new jurisdiction and it means that your case is a bad thing. It just means they're moving things around to make the workload better. Applied for removal of conditions and receive I-797C. It depends on when you applied. You could be waiting for about 6 weeks. I would say 2 to 4 weeks, maybe as long as 6 weeks during the busy time. How long will it take for U.S. citizen mother applying for children? How old are the children? If the children are under 21, I would say under a year. If the children are 21 or over, 5 to 7 years. I came here in the U.S. Let's see, I lost that. I came here in the USA with F1, then I applied for asylum, I passed the interview, then I received, and I don't see anything else. What is true? Okay, so work permit at decision step when says taking longer than expected. Should I be concerned? It's just one of those things they do to buy time. How long will it take for a U.S. citizen mother applying for their children? I answered that. And NTA, how can I, NTA, how can I change my status to green card holder before going to court? That's going to be very complicated to do. And usually once it's in the court, nobody else has jurisdiction to give you a green card except for the court. So you either have to get the case terminated and then go back and apply for a green card should you qualify. I responded to RFE 4 months ago, still nothing. Sometimes that happens, just depends on how backlogged they are, just depends on how involved the RFE is, what kind of process the response to the RFE has to go through. Can I use my travel document and my purpose to go home to plan for my wedding? It depends on what kind of application you're basing your advanced parole on. Applied for removal of conditions, didn't receive the receipt, so I answered that. Work permit at decision step, then so I answered that. How long should the immigration attorney file my VAWA? It's been 2 months. So it depends. Each case is different, and it's going to depend on how involved your case is. One thing I say is we aim to meet deadlines, but we are very thorough here at the firm. We do not rush a case. If it's very complex, we take the time to make sure we understand the case fully and the implications of whatever we're working on. Because the worst thing that you can do is treat this like, or treat a lawyer's work like it is a drive-through, right? This is very serious. It's your future, and the attorney, as long as it is not a situation where you have to meet a deadline, it's very important also to give the attorney time to get to know your case and make sure they file it properly, because once it's there, and any mistakes on that application can have long-term consequences on the application. So you want to make sure that it's done properly, and it depends on how complex the application is. Do you get your work permit at the same time of approval as T visa? Yes. Why NVC is taking longer to schedule an interview for a petition? It's backed up, and it really is painful. I feel you on it, because I and my clients do feel the frustrations of having to wait for something that feels so simple. If only you could get that interview. And then when you look at the interview is like 15 to 30 minutes. So you wait 2 years to spend 15 to 30 minutes talking to the officer. Can I use my travel document and my purpose? So I answered that. Can you please explain the EB2 NIW concurrent filing? All right, so I think concurrent filing goes with, so concurrent filing is where you're here in the US and you are going to apply submitting the petition as well as the adjustment of status at the same time. The adjustment of status application allows the immigrant to stay here in the US while they're applying. But you have to be very, very careful with this, especially since there are no wait lists for the national interest waiver. In order to apply for both at the same time, unless under family immigration, you're the spouse of a citizen or spouse of a citizen or parent of a citizen who is age 21 or older, or child of a citizen under 21, unless you are in that category. But we're talking about employment base here. But across the board, unless you are in that category, you must also have a current priority date. That means you're at the top of the wait list on the National Visa Bulletin. That's the time that you would then file the I-485 along with the NIW I-140 petition. If you file anytime before that priority date becomes current, you will not be successful. It's wrong timing. And if you overstay during that time, it messes up your entire chance of getting the green card while staying in the US. So you have to be careful about that. Can I use my travel document and my purpose to go home? So I answered that. How long to get back a response from USCIS? Re-expedited work permit. So sometimes we don't even get a response. We just get the work permit. Sometimes we get whatever we're asking for. And sometimes, unfortunately, they don't provide an answer. So it all depends. If you don't get an answer, you can always resubmit the expedite. They usually tell us that it's going to take up to 7 days to hear back from them. If you don't hear back, give them a call. I just filed for I-140. So I lost that one. My I-360 is pending for 18 months now. Is that normal? Yes. Now, if the I-360 is pending as a VAWA, yes, absolutely. I sent in my documents about a month ago and I haven't received an update. Then give them a call, find out if they got it. You can't just apply for GC unless you have a relative. So I think this is someone talking to someone else. So what I would say here is we don't give legal advice here. We definitely don't tell somebody they can't do something unless or until they talk to an attorney. Because most people think that the only ways that you can apply for a green card is by having a relative or a spouse, when that is not true. I have T visa clients who apply and are successful on the green card application. So those are options as well. So there are alternative options. This is where it's very important, though, to schedule an appointment and talk about your particular circumstances. Will my former employer be contacted when I file T visa? So each case is different. And I like to say this. The goals of my clients are different. Some clients very well need intervention. They want it. And they make me know that. And in those cases, that's our goal, right? Is to make sure that the client's wishes to get justice is fulfilled while they're applying for the T visa. And we help them to do that. Many of my clients also wish for this to be completely confidential and for them and their identity to be completely protected. And we are able to help them to carry out that goal as well. So it's going to depend on your goal here and the approach of the attorney in helping you get to the T visa. Now, when it comes to immigration, when the application is filed at immigration, they do not contact anybody. It is completely confidential. No third parties are contacted. And if they do contact any third parties, USCIS could be on the hook for penalties. That's how serious it is. So the T visa is extremely confidential. However, where a client does want to pursue justice, for example, if they weren't paid their wages and they want to also pursue their wages, that is definitely up to them to do. And they can pursue that, and we can help them to pursue that. But if they don't want to do that, then it can remain completely confidential. Please, where do I mail my military PIP? So it is going to depend on where you are. The best place to go to get that instruction is the USCIS.gov. Actually, the best person you should have is an attorney to do it. Because these are some of the common issues that come up. It went to the wrong place, wrong forms, wrong protocol. So if you can't talk to an attorney, just make sure you consult with the USCIS.gov for the instructions there. But an attorney is always best. My VAWA case was applied October 23. I got receipt December 23. My green card and adjustment of status both moved to Nebraska to Vermont. Any idea? That's really normal. We are getting a lot of transfers notices as well. It's just them trying to, because before there was only one office dealing with this. It was only the Vermont Service Center that dealt with all VAWA cases across the country. To help the workload move along better, they have now implemented use of the Nebraska Service Center as well. So you will see that they are transferring the cases around offices to try to distribute the workload better. All right, I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in, so I'm just heading here. Can I have both C1D visa and visitor's visa? Yes, that's possible. I've seen other people with those two visas. Is the last in first out still available for asylum interviews? So I believe that is the approach they're using right now to move things along. I want my mom to sponsor me, then schedule an appointment. Let's talk about that. How long does it take to get a work permit and travel document after filing for VAWA? I would say 8 to 12 months. Good day. What is the approval time frame for the T visa? So it can be anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. But on average, I'm seeing most come through in about a year. You're welcome, Angel. Okay, his green card says resident since 2023, but he's been here since 2021. So if he became a permanent resident in 2023, then that's when they truly consider him a permanent resident, even if he's been living here since 2021. So that it might be an error, but based on what you're saying, I think if you're saying he was living here since 2021, that's different from being a permanent resident. We were trying to get his citizenship since he's been married to me, a citizen for 3 years. Okay, so that may be the issue here. Please explain the Child Act for child born on or after February. So I'm not sure what Child Act that is. If you're referring to the Citizenship Act, then that discusses ways that children can derive citizenship from their parents. But other than that, I wouldn't know what the Child Act is. How long to get back a response from USCIS? Re-expedite work permits. I answered that. I just filed for I-140 and I-485 with my sponsors. I'm in second year of J1. What are the chances? So it just depends. This is an employment based, and your sponsors would have had to do everything right to make sure that the petition process and the adjustment of status is the correct process. You also have to make sure that your priority date is current to file the I-485 to stay here and get the green card. So your chances really depend on what are they applying for, what position, what category, what are your qualifications? Is your priority date current? I know you said you're in J1. J1, you have current status, but is your priority date current that allows you to apply for the adjustment of status? So make sure you understand the process as well so that you don't end up, violating any immigration laws yourself. I submit I-360, 1 year now, and can I get married since I have met someone? So, no, if you have filed VAWA, you should not get married while your VAWA is pending. That is a huge mistake. If you get married while your VAWA is pending, they will cancel the VAWA and you will no longer qualify for it. So you cannot get married unless you're okay with it being canceled. If you're okay with it being canceled, then sure. But if you really want to get through your VAWA process, you should not get married. And this is what I say. Whenever you are applying for anything, and then you want to make major changes in your life, you want to move, you want to get married, you want to travel, you want to do things, you want to get divorced, always check with the attorney to make sure you're not running afoul of the very application that you submitted. If a person have a U visa case pending with their boyfriend and they get back together 5 years later, is it possible he can marry to her to help her get the green card? That is a very, very complex question. And, I think that there's a lot going on there. It doesn't change the fact that you're the victim of a crime, right? Getting married to the person who victimized you doesn't change the fact that you are a victim of a crime and you still cooperated with the law enforcement to either report it or you went through the whole process. Then in that case it's not going to be used against you. But and it's not for me to say whether you should or what you should do. But for example, in cases where my clients are going for VAWA and then they say, I've made up with this person and I want to go back with them and just cancel the VAWA out and we're just going to get married and move forward. And the thing is, you applied for VAWA. This person applied for VAWA because this person proved to them that they were not capable of petitioning for them. They violated them, they mistreated them, they were cruel to them. And I often just run this by them. Do you want to have 100% control over your process, where this person that violated you in the past has no control and no say? Which one is better, right? So I often say that, so it should give you food for thought about your element of control in the whole process. Furthermore, the U visa is confidential and you don't want somebody like that, someone who they're the reason you're applying for the U visa, influencing you or having a say or potentially knowing about your U visa case as well, because that can also be a disaster. How do I check on the time frame for my T visa work permit? Do I check from my biometrics or the date of receipt? So there is no time frame that you can check this. What I usually say is the processing time is based on my experience. I have no control over the processing times of the immigration. However, based on my experience, I know that it is about 1 year. And so I say 1 year from the filing date, but there is no official, because the T visa is so confidential that when you check on the receipt number, it says like out of service. It gives an error message because they do not display any kind of processing times or give you any updates. It's all by mail. So we get correspondence from mail. So I usually say to my clients, count 12 months from the date of filing. However, keep in mind that that is just an estimate. I don't control processing times, and it's not a guarantee that you'll have it in 12 months, but an estimate. I submit I-360 1 year now. Can I get married since? Also, I answered that. My travel card has my husband's last name, my passport, my maiden name. Is that going to be a problem? So it shouldn't be a problem. Just show the evidence of your name change and how you had, show something like your birth certificate, your marriage certificate that shows your married name. So just make sure you have that with you. Hi there, Sam. Nice to see you in LA. After I get VAWA work permit, can I apply for work at USPS? So you can work anywhere you want to as long as you qualify for the job. So the employer has to tell you whether you qualify to work at their establishment. But you have the freedom to apply for any of those jobs that you want to. How long does it take after I-130 approval? So I'm not sure what if you're talking about like for the interview outside of the country, I'd say 1.5 years. If you're in the country, if you get an approved I-130, then that green card may be right around the corner, might be a few weeks away. They may ask for the medical first and then send the green card after they get the medical. Can I still take money from the person I'm filling the T visa against? So this is a complex question, and it's really going to depend on your facts here. Because remember, facts are different. All cases are different. So for example, I have had clients in this situation where they are trapped in that situation. They're still working for the trafficker and they need to have a T visa approval to help escape the situation, right? That's their escape plan. And so in cases like that, they as they're pretending as if everything is normal, they're moving along normally, they may still be paid by the trafficker while they're going through this process. And that in that case, you know, there's not something that's necessarily wrong. It might just be necessary for the client to get through the situation. However, for example, say if this is a situation where they're giving you money for illegal activity, but you're being trafficked, right? Or it's related to unlawful activity. Of course, in that case, you cannot be taking that money when you're now applying to the T visa unit. So in that case, no, I mean, you couldn't justify continuing to take money in a case where maybe the trafficker is getting money from an unlawful source. So as you can see, we deal with all sorts of different T visa scenarios. It's extremely broad. And the way that it works is going to be different. The advice is going to be different. What's okay and what's not okay is going to be different in different scenarios. What is the process? Will I get denied? I'm not sure. What? Okay, so can apply for a Canadian visa, although my children. So I don't do Canadian law. I am not a Canadian attorney, so you have to consult with a Canadian attorney. All right, that's gonna be it for me. Thanks everyone for your time. I really appreciate that today. I did really well this week, I think. I think I've come on between around lunchtime every day since Tuesday. So we might be making a breakthrough here. Thanks again, everyone, for your time. I'm going to aim to be back here on Monday at lunchtime, and hopefully we can get back to the Monday through Friday lunchtime schedule. So thanks again. Thanks. These are all great questions. Please keep them coming. I really do appreciate the questions. Thanks. Have a great one. Bye.